Breaking out the PV Nitro.
Remember, don't flip your camera too much.
PV Nitro. I'm going to turn the volume down. I am going to turn the amplifier off because it makes a tremendous amount of room noise. So if you guys were paying attention, I kind of lost track of some things. You know, when we started the stream, I said every week I was going to try to make things better. And I think I did that. But this stream, I made some changes. Hopefully you noticed that I was able to switch cameras and it faded into the other camera. Linnell already hollered in, don't switch the cameras too much because everyone complains. You switch the camera too much. You're over here, you're over here. I just wanted to see what it looked like. I'm going to go back and watch this just like you guys, are seeing it now. At the end of the stream, I always go back and watch it. I want to see how I can improve the stream. Not only did I do that, but I have some other goodies. At the end of the stream, it always seems like everybody's rushing to type in bye and bye to this person and bye to that person, or they're right in the middle of a conversation and they can't finish it. Hopefully I have fixed that. At the end of the stream, YouTube will continue to stream for 5 minutes. Okay? And there's going to be a screen window there. So when I end the stream, you guys will be able to talk and chat at the end of this live stream for 5 minutes. Another good possibility that this has opened up is at the end of the stream, next Saturday's stream, what do we want to talk about? That's 5 minutes for you guys to rush in there, type in, well, I want to go over bridges. Why don't we go over setting up a guitar, neck relief, adjusting saddles, how do you get the radius right, depending on the neck. Because if you have a 12-inch radius neck, you can't take that 12-inch radius gauge and put it on top of the strings and set the strings to 12. Most techs do that, but there's an offset, okay? If the wood radius is 12 inches, the fret top is 12 plus the thickness of the fret. So at the bottom of the strings, that radius would be 12 plus the fret height plus the distance from the string to the top of the fret. So it's no longer 12. Now, am I being super picky? Yeah, I'm being super picky. So you don't have to spend that much time with a radius gauge underneath your string or above your string, depending on how your gauge is set up, to get your radius right. Now, when you get your radius right, you can, if your radius of the neck is here, you can set the radius of the strings like this. You can still have 12.1 on the radius of the strings and 12 here, but lower your high E and raise your 12th. So the distance off your fret increases to the low E and keep that radius the same. It's just food for thought, guys. I'd really like to do, go over some of that stuff with you guys as far as setup. I know I've done some videos on it, but we're doing live streams, and I think it would be a cool thing to go over. Anyway, we have a break scheduled in this live stream since we actually go over 2 hours. Hopefully, Linnell will call in here in about an hour. And again, that's going to give you guys opportunity to chat and talk and go over neat stuff. And there will be a break screen that is introduced to the stream. And then when the break's over, of course, it'll go back to the camera. So, I don't know if you guys like talking about this stuff or not. I don't even have the chat window open. So let me get the chat window open here. And remember, guys, YouTube looks at how many chat conversations are going on. How many posts do y'all put in the chat? You guys chat a lot. I've went back and looked at some of these. I'm like, how is there 380 some messages in this chat? That's awesome. You guys are just typing and chatting. YouTube likes that. It also likes when you use emojis, little dumb emojis and stuff like that. It counts that. I don't know why it counts emojis, but it does. And then it also looks at the comment section down below, and it looks at the like button. If you don't like the stream, that's fine. You can hit the thumbs down button. I see the thumbs down, the audience doesn't. But YouTube sees it as interaction. So whether you give me a thumbs down or a thumbs up, believe it or not, it helps the stream. So if you want to hurt the stream, you don't do anything at all. That's why I'm saying, please do as much as you guys can. It really does help. Anyway, I think that's all the blabbering I need to do on what I did in OBS. Hopefully, I've got a bunch of new buttons in OBS. Hopefully, I don't hit the wrong button. And before you all say anything, no, I do not have the Stream Deck working yet. I had to get OBS set up to where I have control of what OBS is doing. So if you look right there, right here, you'll see we've got a little tag now. I finally figured out, and granted it's basic, I only had about 8 hours today to do all this. So if someone tries to use part of this stream, they'll have to cut out my little thingy right here. And I'm not sure if I have it set up on all the screens or not. I'm not too sure.
Nicholas wants to know if you've ever made your own version of a trim stop.
have I ever of a trim stop? Back in the day, I had a friend that had a Stratocaster, and the way the pitch of the neck was, we couldn't lower the bridge back far enough against the body. Okay, this was back when I was just kind of tinkering with guitars. I didn't really consider myself a tech. So the first thing we did is we really put a lot of tension on the springs, and we just brought the back of that bridge tight against the body. And it would have taken an elephant to push down on the bar. So it was fixed. It wasn't going to go anywhere. The drawback when we did that, it lowers the saddles down on the way the fender bridge is mounted. If you look at the fender bridge, usually sets up a little bit in the back. So when you lower it down, it actually brings the saddles down. And we were scared when we brought the saddles up that there wasn't enough screw in the saddle to hold it. So we brought the bridge back up, and I cut a block to put in between the body and the tremolo block that's in the back. We loosened the springs a little bit, and I made it about a 32nd of an inch larger than that hole. Now you can't push it all the way in because it's going to be square to the route if the tremolo is perfectly perpendicular to the body. So you only need it to be about a 1/4 of an inch tall. And you want to push it down to where it's, it doesn't have to be even to the bottom of the route of the guitar. Just push it down a little bit and then draw the springs up super tight. And that's going to prevent the bridge from decking down on the back of the body. It's going to keep it semi-level. And then you should have plenty of screw room to adjust your saddles to your new action knife. You will have to change the action knife. But I recommend doing that because in the future, if you ever want to go back to a floating bridge, all you need to do is loosen the 2 screws on the claw, take the spring pressure off, move the bar, and the block is going to drop right out. But when you put that block in, don't run 1 screw in on the claw all the way. You should have 2 screws in the claw of the bridge. And the claw is the piece up here, piece right here, where the spring's hooked to. There should be 2 screws here. So don't run the 1 screw in and make the claw tilt, because that's putting all the pressure on that 1 screw. And yeah, you can ask me how I know not to do that. I was drawing one up one day and I had a pretty good tilt on it, and the screw just pulled right out of the body. The 1 screw will not take all the tension. So bring it up, make the claw go like this. Maybe give half a turn, half a turn, half a turn, half a turn, and work the claw up to the body evenly. That keeps the pressure evenly on the screws. Once you get all that pressure on that back of that tremolo block, the steel block against your wooden block set in here, believe me, it's never going to go anywhere. It will never go anywhere. And if you're worried about it going anywhere, get some really thin 3M makes double-sided tape. Not the rubber. Well, they make a couple versions. They make a thick rubber one. If you get the thin rubber one, that would probably be okay. It's sticky on both sides. So put that on the guitar body where the block is going to go. Move the tremolo out of the way and push your block down and push it into that piece of double-sided tape. Then bring your claw up, and it'll never fall out. Like I said, when you pull that claw in like that and you've got that much string pressure on it, instead of the tremolo decking down to the body, the block is going to come back and hit the wood block that you put in the guitar. That's going to keep it stable. That's really all you need to do. And it's removable. Don't get one of them fancy little, they make, I've seen Amazon, I think you can get it on StewMac, it's a bracket that goes on that locks it. Don't waste your money. Just put a block in it, or, deck the tremolo down to the body, and then see if you have enough saddles, screw space with the saddles to bring it up. One of the two will work fine. Yeah, it helps when you down tune. Yeah. But in reality, if you do it this way and you have that much string pressure on it, you should never have a problem. Even if you go up to 45-40 on the tune, you go up, a half step. You should still never have a problem. That bar is going to be so tight, even if you put the bar in it. At that point, you're not going to put the bar in it anyway. It becomes a fixed bridge. So you're never going to bump that thing to the point or be able to lift underneath of it to make that tremolo move. So you don't have nothing to worry about there. I'm going to go back and read the chat. Nobody can fall asleep when you're on. I like that, Stephen. Oh, well, Linnell's guitar, yeah, I guess it technically has been mounted because the Peavey, that's really not fair because the Peavey is like a 1986. So it's taking advantage of the 2015 guitar. It's really not a good thing, but, I'm not going to call social services over my Peavey. And I'm just seeing who all is in here. I'm going to start at the beginning of the chat. We got Jerry. Good to see you, Jerry. Of course, we have Devastator. Then we have the Funny Honey. That's my woman, Linnell. And then we have, I keep saying balanced, but I'm going to say it's Banced.
Yeah.
Sorry, I butcher names. He's a regular as well. Then we have Kurt Inscale. Good to see you, Kurt. Then we have Bryce. Great to see Bryce in the chat. Love to see Bryce in the chat. Then we have Stefan Newland. And I think that's everyone that I see here.
A Tampa Flesh.
Oh, no, we have Jupe. We got Jupe. And then Nicholas has joined the group. And Tampa Flesh. So, for everybody that's got here from the beginning, there you go. I can't hear it. I don't have my headphones on, so hopefully you guys heard the clapping.
Jerry has a question.
I'm going to go back and see questions. I should see question marks. Did you put question marks in front of it?
Yep.
Oh, I haven't looked yet, and I don't recall if so when I replaced the saddles, but do you recall if the block is interchangeable on non-locking trims of the FFST? Okay, Jerry, part of the problem with Firefly, well, it's not a problem. It's one of the things that makes their guitars less expensive. Firefly is going to source parts for X runs. Okay, they don't have one set vendor. Okay, that they're always ordering those parts for. They might go over here and get 300 bridges. They go over here and get 300 bridges. That's why at the end of my Firefly reviews, I always say that's a second production run, a third production run, because I'm reviewing this production run. When Firefly 5 months from now builds that guitar again, they may or may not be using that exact same bridge. Will the parts fit? You're kind of throwing a dart. That's why I was surprised when I first ordered the FFMN that I saw Floyd Rose parts on it. I knew then, this was a year and a half ago, that was the first flag that there was a problem at Floyd Rose. See, there are no more German Floyd Roses being made. Schaller's out. Now, they keep saying that it's going to the USA, but there's definitely going to be a supply chain issue now on Floyd Roses. We saw that. We saw the shift going from China to Korea. The FR1000 right now is going to be the bridge because that's still being produced. So I would say the original one and the original German, probably the German one's going to go bye-bye. And the original 84 and the original will be made in the United States. But my point in this is, you're going to have to take the guitar apart and take the block off. Pull the saddles, and there should be screws on top of the main block, the bridge plate. And that screws to go in through it, you're going to have to measure those. And then you're going to have to find a site that gives you that specification of that distance to see if it aligns. If they don't align, what you can do is measure the distance between the posts and then see if like a Vega trim or something like that will work. Vega trim's main bracket will usually work on a bunch of different guitars. You may have to pull the post, set the bracket, and put 2 new screws in to hold the main piece. But a Vega trim will usually work in any guitar with a Strat style bridge. Some people don't like the Vega trim because on the back of the trim you can see the cavity hole because the trim kind of floats back. That doesn't bother me. The Vega trim's a great trim low. But I don't know if yours is exactly like the one that I have. And even if it looks the same, it may not be the same. That's just one of the drawbacks to more expensive, inexpensive guitars. They're sourcing products from a bunch of different locations. And my point back to the Floyd Rose was the very first time Firefly did it, it was a hodgepodge of parts. It was half Floyd Rose and half Chinese stuff. And then the second version come out, and it was almost all Floyd Rose except the base plate. And then about 4 or 5 months ago, we saw the cheaper than the special Floyd Rose come out, which is made in China, and it has the screen printed name on it. I can already tell you the bridge on my Firefly sometimes gets hung up. And that is the cheaper version. That's the China-made Floyd Rose. Now, I haven't taken it apart. It could be just a machining error in the knife edges. So I'll clean it up, and I'm going to put it back together with a stock bridge. I'll see how long it actually holds up to see if that's soft metal or hard metal. But I would look into, if you're trying to make it, a little stronger, order or get a set of calibers. My calibers are over there, and get as close as you can on the screw spacing, and then get on Amazon. Amazon's pretty good. If you look at Music Lily on the blocks, they usually give you the spacing on the screw holes, and maybe go after that. If not, then you're going to be stuck with it until you actually change the bridge. You don't have to go to a Floyd Rose or a Goth. If you look at your 2 mount posts and you get that distance, there's a ton of other bridges on Amazon that give you that distance, and you can swap out the whole bridge.
Tampa Fletch says, hey Avery, old 60-year-old beginner that just bought Firefly triple pickup Black Beauty. What size and brand strings should I start with?
Firefly is usually, Linnell's reading the questions out there. So who posted that on?
Tampa Fletch.
Oh, Tampa Fletch. Yeah, on Firefly, they're usually using 42 to 9s. So I would stick with the 42 to 9. If you can usually go down 1 or up 1. So if you go to 10s, like a 56 to 10s, usually you're okay and you don't have to recut the nut. But if you stick with what's on the guitar, you should be fine. Strings are, it's one of those things. Now, I will say this. So let me show you a set of strings here. I was playing these strings for quite some time, and I might ruffle some feathers here. I like these strings. I do. But I've started to notice something on the guitars that I've been running these strings on. Even the stainless steel guitars, it seems like these strings are really tough. The material, you always want your strings softer than the fret material. You want the fret to eat the string. When you pull your old strings off, flip them over, you should see shiny spots on the strings where it wore into the strings from moving the frets. I think these strings really chew up your frets. This is just my opinion based on using them for 2 years. I polished a set of guitars, frets, put these strings on it, and then I'll put Super Slinkies on another one. It seems like those frets last longer with the Super Slinkies, and these get scratchy. The frets get scratchier quicker running these. I think Diodario makes great strings. The NYXL, I don't know. I've got a ton of different strings here. A set of strings that are really expensive that I really do like, and I have a lot of guitars. It would make me bankrupt if I put them on. String Joy. I have a set. I think the Kramer here has the string joys on it. I really need to, when you experiment, guys, don't do me. Get a piece of tape, put on the back of the guitar, write down when you put the strings on it and the brand. Because believe me, you're going to forget. You know, you will forget what, oh, I'll remember, and then you get this set, I'll try this set, and you put it on this guitar, and you go back, it's like, what did I put on that guitar? I think this one has the string joys on it. I'm going to start doing that. I'm going to start labeling my guitars with what. But I like the string joys. I also like the regular Diodarios. I don't know where it happened to all my string packages. Now, Ernie Ball makes good strings. Super Slinkies. If you want the best inexpensive string, you really can't go wrong with Super Slinkies. The guy I played with in a band for years, he swore by Super Slinkies. And I think it's still one of the cheaper sets of strings that you can get. I would try those, especially if you're just learning. He used them because he sweat a lot. And back then they didn't really have coated strings. We had cold blue steels, which were crow treated. They were frozen. They were supposedly not supposed to corrode. And I ran the blue steels for years until they stopped making them. But he swore by the Super Slinkies. So I would try the Super Slinky first. And there's a couple different versions of the Super Slinky. Just go with 42-9. Stick that on the guitar. And anytime you change manufacturers, that will change the intonation on the guitar a little bit. It's not bad. You'll be able to hear it if it does it. Watch a couple of my videos. If it's a Les Paul guitar, right at the base of the bridge, there's a screw that moves the saddle back and forth. If you want to go, if it's flat on the 12th, move the saddle forward towards the nut. If it's sharp, move it back towards the butt of the guitar. Usually when you set the intonation, that set of strings is gone because you have to loosen the string, then bring it to tune. Check the intonation, loosen the string, move the saddle, tighten, bring it up to tune, check it. And from going loose, tight, loose, tight, loose, tight, it destroys the strings. So if you plan on doing it, get 2 sets of strings, get the intonation set. If you don't break a string, great. Play it for, about a week, Make sure your neck is good. Adjust your truss rod. Leave the strings on for maybe a week or 2 and then put your fresh ones on. And you should be good. As long as you stick with the manufacturer and the same gauge, your intonation really shouldn't move that much one way or the other. I say that because there's a company called DNR. And I played DNR for a long time again. And I noticed that I was constantly, DNR strings, they're kind of inconsistent. You might get 2 sets where your intonation stays right, and you might get a set where it kind of throws it off. And that's the main reason why I stopped using DNR. I liked the string, it just didn't seem like they were stable as far as putting the exact same type DNR and gauge on it, and the guitar still being in intonation. I'm not the only one that said that about DNR, but I know bass players still love the DNR strings. They're awesome, awesome strings. But if I were you, I would just go Super Slinkies, man. I've got 2 sets of Super Slinkies that I just picked up. I'm going to put Super Slinkies on my George Lynch copy Firefly. When I set that up, I'm going to put Super Slinkies on it. They're just good rock and roll strings, and they're good blues strings too.
Jim wants to know if you've ever played a top mount Floyd Rose.
I have not played the FRX. I have not, Jude. I've thought about getting one. Let me show you the guitar I'm thinking about getting it for. Now, I have to ask permission to do it. This is Linnell's first guitar. And this is the one everyone wants. This is the one, it does not have ball-end frets. This is a conventional fret Firefly. Okay? I put the Epiphone Pro bunkers in it, the whole kit. It comes with the volume, tone, all the wiring. It got it on Amazon for like $79. I did a complete fret level and dressing on this guitar, and I put upgraded locking tuners on it. And this guitar is awesome. I mean, this is an awesome guitar. She has not been playing it; it's out of tune. She's been playing her new guitar. But I was thinking about getting one for this one. This is the only Les Paul. Well, actually, I do have a double cut downstairs that has this bridge configuration on it. I might be able to put an FRX on that. I'm not too sure, but I've thought about putting it on this one. But no, I have never played an FRX. I've heard they're really good once you get them set up. Remember, there's no routing, so all your adjustments are up here. And they claim it can be a little tricky, and that's just doing what they call YouTube research. What I find on YouTube is most of the time it's information. So I would call Sweetwater. Sweetwater will always give you 10% off. And like how I bought my Floyd Rose in the black chrome, they had a demo, and they just wanted to put up maybe a black one up there. So they sold me that one at like over 50, well, it was like 50% off. So I'd call them and say, hey, do you have an FRX on display? How long has it been on display? Do you want to switch it to a black one? I'll take the chrome one. Or see if they'll give you 10% off. It never hurts to ask, man. I have never been turned down for 10% at Sweetwater when I asked for it.
Jim says he meant the old top mount Floyd, not that rather new contraption they come up with.
I didn't know Floyd had a top mount before the FRX. I knew they had a simpler, it's like more like a Fender tremolo, but it's not technically a top mount, if that makes sense. You still have to have a route. I thought the FRX was their first attempt at it. So if that's the case, I have no knowledge whatsoever of it. I'm sorry, I apologize. But that'll give me something to look up. I had an FRX on an SG install. Was easy, and dialing it in wasn't too bad. Very stable bridge. Well, there you go. Kurt Inscale says they're good bridges. So, I mean, it looks like it's a nice bridge. It really does. I see we have Jackie's joined the group. I just saw Jackie come in there.
You got Jerry White.
Jerry White. The dogs are now going crazy. Let me put this one. Who is it?
Birdman.
Birdman. I like it.
I think they started a bidding war on my guitar. Devastator started it with $5.
Have we started a bidding war on the Chapman?
I think it was on the one you just had.
Now, believe it or not, it looks like my guitar is touching hers, but I made sure that it's setting back. It is not touching the Chapman. I would not be able to sit down for a week if my guitar put a scratch on the Chapman.
We're up to $25.66.
Oh my gosh, I would buy it for that like 100 times in a row. $25. Birdman says there's a Washburn something on display at Walmart. Fret ends are like daggers. I can believe that. All manufacturers are going to build to a price point. Fender builds to a price point. That's how come they have Squire. You got Epiphone. Epiphone makes a $200 Les Paul. The frets on that aren't going to be as nice as my Alex licensed Les Paul, which is $1,300. They're going to build to the price point. Washburn also makes it's like a guitar amp combination for like $160. You get picks, a strap, a guitar, a cord, and an amp. So the guitar is going to be built to that price point. And I see Renee's in the group.
Pentagor's in too.
And Pentagore. And everyone that's come in that didn't get the clap. Now you got it. Ha!
Devastator started the Chapman bid at $6.50.
Oh my gosh, you guys are going to have to up the Chapman. I'm going to go broke if you keep auctioning off my guitars at these cheap budget prices.
Devastator said, LOL, love you, Liddell.
I'm going to be drinking a lot tonight, guys.
Tampa,
My blood sugar's been a little high today. I've been trying to get it down, so I've been drinking a lot.
Tampa Fletch wants to know, how's the weather up there? Avery heard it was supposed to be nasty up there today. No tomorrow.
It's supposed to be nasty tomorrow. Today was, I won't say it was warm. It got to about 55. I went outside this morning, uncovered both motorcycles, started both motorcycles up, let them get good and warm. I took the BMW down, put fresh gas in it, drove it home. Then I got on Linnell's Rebel, started it back up, drove it to the gas station, got it all fueled up, and brought them back home. And we had gotten a new cover for Linnell's Rebel. The cover I had was a cover for my BMW, which was way too freaking big for it. So we went to the Honda place and we actually bought the Honda cover that's designed to fit it. And we put it on tonight. It fits like a freaking hand glove. It is really nice. It's got a bottom strap. And we went down there just to pick up our new face shield. Everyone saw her helmet the other week. Well, it come with the clear face shield. Well, of course, she wanted the nicer, more reflective face shield. So we had to order that. That came in, so we went down, was it Friday?
No, I think
Went down Friday and picked that up. So we're pretty well set. But tomorrow, it's supposed to rain cats and dogs and be windy, and it's supposed to be really nasty here tomorrow. So I think it'll be next weekend before we actually get to go out for our first real cruise on the bikes. So I'm hoping next weekend will be nice.
Jackie said I was always told to stay away from the clap.
Yeah, it's not good. It really isn't. And we see we got Mark SRT has joined the group. We got everybody in here tonight. It's good to see everybody.
Now explain to them why you took my bike down. You put Linnell doesn't buy her own gas.
Well, I buy the gas no matter what. So.
Yeah, but you already have your helmet and stuff.
Well, I don't really remember why I drove it down to get gas. I went out this morning. We had only started the bikes twice this winter. And that's really not good enough. So I decided to go out just to make sure, the tires were good, fresh. We ran most of the gas out of them.
You were already dressed to ride anyway.
Yeah, I was already dressed to ride, so I just went ahead and took care of everything. It's no biggie. I enjoyed it. Now, her bike does not have a fairing on it whatsoever. And I tell you what, when I was going to Sheets, I got about halfway there, and I'm like, I just had this T-shirt on and my summer riding jacket, which is basically perforated front with just shoulder pads. There's no windbreak whatsoever. It was pretty chilly. It was chilly on my bike with the big fairings, but I hopped on hers. I got about halfway down the street, and I realized, oh my gosh, it's going to be so cold going to Sheets. But I got there, got it filled up, and so hopefully this weekend we can go out riding.
Devastator said they got tornadoes there last night.
Yeah, I was watching, I think it was Fox News. Was it Missouri? And we were watching, it was one of these states, oh my gosh, they got hit bad. It was all kinds of tornadoes and heavy rains and windstorms.
Jerry said, if you're not aware, apparently Skype is going bye-bye.
Oh, I did not know Skype was going bye-bye. Well, we will have to get a new operating platform then. I've just never switched. I know a lot of people use Discord now. So we might need to start doing a Discord room where we can get in and chat.
Honeytop said, hey man, it was a frigid 80 degrees here, but it got a little windy.
Honeytop, you're like my friend Billy Tampa down there that I used to fly helicopters with. He lives in Tampa. And he says that I'm up here and it's about 30 degrees. And he's like, oh, I'm freezing down here. I'm freezing. I'm like, well, How cold is it down there, Billy? Oh, it's like 67 degrees. I'm going to have to turn the heat on. You know, he does that, but then I wait. I get him back. When August comes, I call and say, hey, how's that Florida weather treating you now? It's 110 and 100% humidity.
Honey Top said he just got done with his live stream on his Fruit Forest channel called Eat Your Backyard. It was his first garden session outdoor performance stream in shorts and flip-flops.
Oh my gosh. Well, you got 3 channels, Honey Tap. I do know that. I do know. If you guys don't know his channels, you go out. He's got a gardening channel, then a guitar channel, and I think a surfing channel. So if you guys are into any of that, you can check out Honey Tap's channel. Yeah, 80 degrees. Like I said, you Florida guys, you rub it into us northern guys right now, but when August comes around, you guys know what time it is. I mean, it gets warm here. I'm from the south originally, so I know what the southern temperatures do. It gets hot and humid.
And of course, says Microsoft wants people to switch from Skype to the Meetings app.
Yeah, the Meetings app. Yeah, that sounds about right. But guys, the reason I brought the PV out is it has active electronics. And someone had brought up something that they wanted to compare active to passive. So we're going to kind of do that.
Honey Tap also has a fishing channel called Florida Fishy Finger.
So if you guys are unaware, this is my 1987 PV Active Nitro. And there's really not much stock on this guitar. It has been heavily altered. Originally, this guitar was active. It only had one pickup right here. And it had a volume knob, and that's it. That's how PV made them. It was just a super shredder. First thing I did was I added a tone knob. Okay? And then after that, PV made a active Telecaster model called a Generation. And I took the neck pickup of a Generation, first generation Gen of the PV active Generation guitar, and I put the pickup right there. And if you look, I know what you're thinking, oh, you dummy, you tilted the pickup the wrong way. No, that's done deliberately. That's to give a little more high end on the low E and to soften up the high E to make it very mellow sounding. So I do not have my clean amplifier on tonight, but I'm going to switch it over to that pickup. And we're going to listen to just what this pickup sounds like. Oh, and it helps to actually turn the standby switch on. Even if I had a foot controller on the power amp I have, you can't do by foot controller. So this is just this center pickup. Well, what you're getting there is you're getting a telly smack without the brightness. And that's really what I was shooting for. I wanted something that had a little smack to it, but yet wasn't as bright and just got you in the ears. Is it bright? Yeah, well, it's a telly pickup, you know. And it's set up to ease that out, to brighten the low E and soften the high E. Now with active pickups, you get more compression with an active pickup. You don't really, a lot of people say you're going to get more push. Now this particular guitar, yes, I'm getting more push. Long before YouTube, okay, and anything else come out, I modified this guitar. This guitar runs at 18 volts. It's two 9-volt batteries running series. So it is not running at 9 volts, it runs at 18, which gives a little bit more output than a standard active pickup. So that was another modification. The next modification was this pickup right here. This is an EMG 89. And the EMG 89 is coil splittable. So if I split the coil in the EMG 89, we get this. It's quite bright. So normally what I'm going to do now, I'm going to roll off on the tone a little bit on the split of the EMG 89. It's quite nice. Now I'm going to bring the tone all the way back up, and we are going to go full humbucker mode with the EMG 89. It helps to turn off this microphone. I was wondering why the gain was so high. I reached over and changed it and it didn't make a change. So let me do that over again and use the right microphone, the one that's actually on the amp. So hopefully you guys get a pretty good idea of what the 89 sounds like. I played this guitar probably exclusively for almost 20-25 years. I had three guitars. I had my PV Nitro, this one right here, active. Then I had a PV Nitro, it's black. This one's actually midnight blue. My other one is black, and it's HSS, and it is passive. My other Nitro really is not a Nitro. It's a PV Vandenberg, which is basically a Nitro with a modified body and a reverse headstock. And they changed the scale length to 27.5. I played those three guitars from 1987, all the way up until about maybe 10 years ago.
Birdman says, how do both sound together, or did I miss it?
Yeah, both together. Let's do both together. Now it does. I have a balancing capacitor in here, so when I pull this one, it should bleed a little bit of that signal, and you'll hear it. I never took the time to actually get it perfect. So, this is a combination that was never meant to be put together. So basically, the first thing we're going to do, I'm going to split the coil here, and we're going to do single coil, single coil. And then when I push this down, we'll do humbucker single. Now we're going to do humbucker single. Now, one thing with active electronics, if you attack the guitar hard, it breaks up. So now I'm going to show you how much influence you have. I'm running quite a bit of gain. I'm running the Friedman side of my amp. But I'm going to try to pick lightly and then really attack the strings to go from a moderate distortion to more gain. And a lot of that's the 18 volt. You can get a lot of variation on the push to the amplifier running active at 18 volts. I think that's this guitar's biggest thing. If I go to a little less crunch, this thing will go really clean on a light pick, and then when you dig into it, you can get quite a bit of gain coming out of it. Get a little too much gain on the amp for that, but I know for certain that you could definitely hear the attack difference just on how I was playing there. It makes a big difference. If I go to the humbucker position, it does the exact same thing. It's not quite as responsive because this pickup's output's killing this one a little bit as far as when you're, because the way they're wired, it's going to take the resistance down, it blends it together. But this one still does it. The MNG 89 will still do it.
That's my qualifier.
How well will she growl? She'll growl. I gotta turn the gain up on the amp. I have the Friedman set at like 50% on the gain. That's a lot of gain. To give you a reference, let's go straight right now. That was the humbucker of the EMG at 18 volts. Let's go right to a passive JB Seymour Duncan pickup, and we'll hear the difference. One passive JB pickup. Doesn't have the bite. Now, as far as growl, I think the growl is a little deeper with the Seymour. Okay, and granted, that's pretty much EQ. I did not change the EQ, but coming out of the guitar, I think the Nitro of the EMG 89 has a little bit more bite, more take your head off. This has a little bit more bottom end, very easily corrected as far as your EQ. I don't think you can get the bite out of the JB that you can. I pushed the wrong button. I'm sorry. Ha! Too many buttons. If you listen to that, the EMG has a little bit more bite, more attack. Okay, it hits the amp a little harder. The JB, on the other hand, it's got a little bit warmer sound. Okay, some would say that's more growl. Okay, you can definitely feel it under your fingers. The EMG just has more attack. Don't pay attention to the harmonics. It's easier for me to get the harmonics, the pinch harmonics, out of this guitar. This guitar, the action is set very, 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 very low. And it's harder to get pinch harmonics with an extremely low string height, action height. It actually starts to choke the harmonics a little bit. It actually needs it set up just a little bit. And that's with that microphone. The dogs are just going crazy today. Hopefully that's a pretty good change. Like I said, I'm not doing anything on the amplifier. That's just the two different sounds on the guitar. I can't give you a middle position sound on this one. Yeah, I can go single coil. So let's check out the single coil sound on the JB. So back and forth, single, humbucker, single, humbucker, single, humbucker. So you kind of hear the difference there. That's about as fair as you can get without changing the settings on the amplifier. Granted, I know it's two different guitars, um, but that gives you a good idea. I think the EMG 89 is very comparable to the JB. It has a little bit more attack, and the way I have mine wired, I think it's a more usable. Me again. I keep hitting the wrong button tonight, guys. That gives you a pretty good idea of the two pickups. I think the EMG gives you a better dynamic response if you're trying to get that thinner kind of attack, but yet not lose the warmth. The one I was just playing, when you switch it to single, it loses its bottom end warmth. It still has the bright crystal sound, but it seems like it loses a little bit of bottom end. It's not as warm sounding. The EMG 89, when you split it still sounds warm. It's not as thick, but it still sounds warm. I don't know. Tone is preference, guys. We were just there were some comments that they wanted to do some comparison between active and passive. And the best way of doing that is what I just showed. Plug one in right after the other. Not necessarily play with the tone on them, leave them cranked up, because you can play with the tone, you can play with the EQ on your amp. But the EMG is just going to give you a little bit more pick-a-tyke, if that makes sense. And I also think in single coil mode, it's a little warmer.
Jupe says, what's in that drink you got there, Avery?
Yeah, I'm so worried about the new buttons on OSB, I'm not paying attention to the mixer that has all the control of all the microphones. So I did make a lot of changes, guys. So give me one or two streams to get used to all. My OBS screen is completely different. I have multiple scenes set up now, so I can do a lot of different stuff now. And the transition was very smooth. I don't know if you noticed that, but it just didn't pop right over to the other camera. So I did a lot of work today and did a lot of modifying and a lot of studying in OBS. So hopefully you guys can see that change. Just the transition between cameras makes it so much nicer. And then at the beginning of the stream, if you all weren't here, we had stream starting soon. And that is not part of YouTube. That is something that I have created in OBS that it loops. Basically, I found out when I set up the live to go live at X time, it wants to see a stream. Okay? Once it sees the stream, it's still not going to go live until 8. So if it sees the stream, I can hit stream coming soon. You all won't even see it yet. All you see is the UT card. Then I can go and hit yes, I'm ready on YouTube. And whenever 8 o'clock hits, it'll automatically switch over to OBS. And once I see that you guys see that, I can switch to a different scene. This is considered a scene. And that's why that window was created. So I know the window works. So next week we'll go ahead and initiate the stream before YouTube says the time is up and see if it actually works. The way in my little squirrel brain it's supposed to work. But we got some other goodies programmed in for tonight as well. But I lost my chat. I think Jerry was the one that was asking about the EMG or active. I think the Fluence active pickups, they actually have a lot of different sounds that you can get out of the Fluence.
Birdman wants to know if you go live by the creator Creator tab section on YouTube.
Creators tab section. I go directly, if you go under Create, go Live, and then I have it set up to not, it'll say webcam. Well, mine says streaming software. Okay? And it took me a long time to figure out when you hit streaming software, it kicks you out of the window that allows you to schedule time. And I just figured that out on how to do streaming software and schedule previous schedule. Like I want to set it up to go live at 8. I just figured that out last Thursday because it actually hides it if you use streaming software. It's kind of weird.
Tampa Fletch says, Avery, I'm in the same boat. Drank and got me in a bad spot in my life and do things to keep me occupied like a tour.
Yeah, talked about that the other week. Music for me put me in some bad places, and it doesn't have to be that way. Music is something for me now that takes the stress out of my life.
You might want to let them know you're drinking tea.
Oh yeah, well I'm actually drinking tea, guys. It's not mixed drink or anything. It's just tea. I haven't really drank in probably 29 years, 28 years. I may have had 2 or 3 beers, maybe. Well, I know I've had under 5 beers in that amount of time. I know twice I went to go get a steak and I had Sam Adams with my steak. And I think Linnell and I had a beer about 3 years ago.
We split a bootlegger.
Yeah, and a bootlegger probably a year ago. So, but it's not something that I can be around a lot. It's like smoking. I quit smoking, now I'm smoking again. So it's not something that I want to dabble my feet too much in.
Birdman says, cool, he wants to start live shows pretty soon himself.
Yeah, doing things live is completely different. And I think this is probably our 25th live show. And each show, if you watch it, I think got a little better. I think the microphone now sounds much, much, much better. Excuse me. My first live stream, I was using an SM57. Then I got this microphone and didn't realize that I had the microphone turned around the wrong way. And the diaphragm was actually facing the opposite direction from me. So now that I have the diaphragm actually facing me, and I actually have a pretty decent setup on my 286S channel strip, I think that I'm getting closer to decent audio. I don't sound like I'm right up on the mic because I'm not on the mic. The microphone, you can see the bottom of it's right there. So it's just out of camera view. I don't want it. The first ones I had it right here, and it still sounded like I was in a bean can.
I think they hear your amplifier.
Yeah, the amplifier is buzzing. If I turn that off, it literally picks the amp up on the other side of the room. Now the buzzing should be gone. I just turned the amp on standby. It's a very, very, very sensitive microphone. So in between not playing, I need to remember to do that. I think doing live, everyone knows here that I'm a tube amp guy. I like tube amps. But I have a Line 6 stomp. And doing the live show, I think the Line 6 stomp is probably going to be the way to go. I don't have to get up and turn off the standby. I don't have to worry about turning on and off the microphone because there is no amp. There is no microphone. I can use a cab sim and an IR and go directly into the mixing board, set the guitar down, turn the volume down, and not even have to turn on and off the mics. It's going to be so much easier to do that. So how long have we been on, hon?
A little over an hour.
Okay, guys, we've been on for a little over an hour. I want to try one of my new buttons because I need to use the restroom. I've been drinking a lot of tea. So we're going to try something, and hopefully it works. We're going to take about a 3 or 4 minute recess, and you guys can talk and chat, and I'll be right back. And again, right out of break, I'm just yakking. I forget to hit the microphone. Hopefully you guys like the little intermission thing. I actually looked for the one with the popcorn and the drink that was walking. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. But everyone I went to download, you had to pay for to get royalties or this or that. So I was like, eh. So I just made my own. So hopefully you guys like the one that I made. I tried to take some basic graphics on a couple free ones, mix it all together, and come up with something that kind of looked old school and cool. So hopefully that was my first attempt at a break scene, and I deliberately tried to make it look old. I think it turned out pretty good. I'll go back and watch the stream and see how it merged in and see how it works. And now I just have to remember that I have control buttons over here, and I still have to manage the AG08. I can see if a company could come out with a computer system, and it's probably already made, with two screens, an AG08 type interface that you could run OBS and have your computer all in one platform. I can see where that would be the ultimate seller. Instead of having the interface, the monitor, a separate computer, and all these things kind of tied together. They probably make something like that. I tried to do this on a budget, and we probably still spent probably $1,000. Just then, I have a lot of equipment, but I ended up buying the AG08, and I did find it cheaper. I called Sweetwater, and they immediately credited me the difference since I found it cheaper. I got the 286S for $150 at Chuck Levin's out down in DC. One of the last true guitar stores in this area. We had Venomans and it closed, and now Chuck Levin's is really the only one left. Sam Ash was big, now they're gone. So Chuck Levin's is the last old school big store, to my knowledge, it's still around.
Steven said ground control to Major Avery.
That's it, man. Ground control to Major Tom.
Jerry wants to know if your Line 6 has an expression pedal.
I do not have any pedals for the Line 6. It does not have... Does it have a MIDI? Let me see if it has a MIDI. It does have MIDI. So I could very easily take one of my X15 foot controllers and program. I would have to look at the coding, the MIDI coding. I'm sure it changed in 20 some years. But my X15 has two expression pedals on it. So I think I could get my X15 foot controller to work with the Line 6. What I was saying earlier, it would be so much easier. Guys, I like tube amps. And we did an experiment here live. And there were some guys, I think Curtain Scale said that, I hate to say it, but the Line 6 sounds almost as good as your rack amplifier. And I can see that with YouTube compression and stuff. I can see that. In the room, I can hear the extra warmth the tube amp has. But on live streaming, it's so much easier. There's no open mic. I don't have to push a button. I can literally have the Line 6 come in on an input, and it's completely quiet, completely clean. Even though I'm running an amp and a cab hour, there's no hum that this microphone's going to pick up because there is no amplifier. There's no driver. Without the headphones on, I can't even hear what I'm playing. So doing live, I can see why people, do that. I am going to start saving money. I am going to be picking up an FX3. And the FX3 I'm going to set up here. And I'm going to have part of the unit set up to do live because it has multiple outputs. So I'll be using the IR and the cab sim to do live streams. But then when I do amp, guitar reviews and I play at home, I can come out of the main outs directly to the power amp to my drivers. It'll be the best of both worlds.
Birdman wants to know if you're in Upper Virginia. He's in upstate North Carolina.
Yes, I am in Northern Virginia. I live about 40 miles outside of Washington, D.C. But I have drove, 5, 6 hours away to meet people, guitar wise.
Devastator said Nana Linnell keeps getting new toys.
Everybody here works hard. Now, when I work, there's a paycheck involved in it. When she works, it's for the family. So I have to make enough for both of us working. They're both jobs. We really want to have a life to where both of us don't have to work. Right now, we're able to do that. Okay? And it was getting to the point where inflation and eggs and Linnell and I talked. You may have to get a job. Knock on wood, we've been able to do it. Could we have cut things, hobbies and stuff like that? Sure. I think we live really well. We could have cut some things, but to keep the lifestyle we have, we eat well. We're not eating Roman cup of noodles every night. We eat a lot of lamb, pork chops. And now, granted, don't kill the messenger. I know I'm an Adventist and I'm not supposed to have pork chops, but I like pork chops and I like sausage gravy. Something I just can't give up. But we eat well. We have air conditioning here. I have an oil furnace. We're warm. We're cool. The Lord has blessed us. Even this YouTube channel. I see a lot of guys that do it for a long time and they don't have 300 subscribers. I think a lot of it is, guys, I'm honest and I don't hide anything from you. I tell you what I find on the guitars, and I'm just a guy in a house that works for a living, works on guitars, trying to make a living, that loves music.
I was like, they were talking about YouTube a little bit earlier, and Birdman has a channel. He says he's been on YouTube since 2016, and he only has 642 subscribers.
That's what I mean. YouTube is hard, guys. It is. That's why when Ted Talks Guitars came in, I don't even think he really even knew that I knew who he was. He popped in. I'm like, oh, look, it's Ted Talks Guitars. And some people might find his channel boring. Some people might find it great. Some people might go, oh, whatever it may be. Some people might turn into my channel and go, this dude just spent 3 hours tearing apart a $150 guitar. What in the world is this cat doing? They click right off of it. So you got to find your audience. I try to stick to what I do, and I think reviewing, whether it's $1,000 guitar or $200 guitar, I try to do the same review. I try to give you the outputs of the pickups, how well this particular guitar is as far as the fret leveling and stuff. And I always tell people, if you go to a music store and you're looking at a guitar, don't be scared. If you've got a fret rocker, take it with you. If you've got a little pocket tuner, take it with you. Plug the thing in. Check the intonation. Check the frets on it. It's your money. We work hard. They might have another one in the back. If you go to Sweetwater, because I did it when I picked up my Schecter, they brought me 3 or 4 guitars down. And that wasn't even open box. They got them and they're starting. I'm like, hold on. I'm not saying I'm going to buy them. They said, well, you can't try it unless we open the box. I said, well, then it's open box. We'll take care of it. You play them. We'll run it back through our Sweetwater inspection department. They'll retape it. It'll be all wiped down and be clean. I played 5 or 6 guitars. And I picked the one that I thought best fit me at the time. If you go into the store, just, hey, do you have another one just like this? I'd like to see if you have, well, you've got that guitar. Yeah, but do you have another one just like it? I want to play 2 of them to see if the other one is as good as this one. If they don't, they don't, but they might. And if they do, and they say, no, we're not going to open another one when we already have one open, then it's up to you. You either continue to do business or you don't do business there. Does that kind of make sense? It depends on your local music store. I know if I went to Shandor Music and I asked them, hey, do you have another one of these? I want to compare them. I know those guys down there would not hesitate. But let me qualify. Shenandoah Music knows if I like it, I'm not just going to go, well, let me think about it. Those guys know that I'm serious. When I go in asking for a product, if they have it and the price is fair, I'm going to buy it. I don't go into their store, play all their instruments and leave. And do that, and do that, and do that, and do that. I go in looking for a product that I am interested in, and if I play it, they know I'm truly interested in it. Unless I walk in and we're just talking and they go, hey man, play this. Then they know I'm just kind of tinkering. Does that kind of make sense? The what you do when you go into the store knows repeating customers. Once you establish a relationship with your store, they will take care of you. What were you saying, hon?
Oh, Honeytop said he needs to take a pilgrimage to Sweetwater.
Honeytop, when you go, we need to start a thing on your channel, my channel, everyone's channel, when we're all going to Sweetwater. And we should literally it takes 2 days at Sweetwater. There's a cafeteria there. Bring your wives. There's a hair salon upstairs. There's a massage parlor. There's all kinds of stuff upstairs for the women if they don't play music. There's a full food court with anything and everything that you could possibly want to eat. Plus, the town itself has got everything. There's the zoo. There's what's the name? It's I can't even think of the name of the town. Fort Wayne Children's Zone. So if you got kids, have the wife and the kids. If you can do it, drop you off at Sweetwater, and they can go over to Fort Wayne Zoo. Believe me, they can be there all day and not see that whole zoo. We spent a whole day, Linnell, me, and Trinity. We still kind of rushed through everything to see everything the Fort Wayne Zoo had. Just a phenomenal zoo. They just added a bunch of stuff. So they can do that while you're in Sweetwater. But what I did is we spent pretty much a day and a half at Sweetwater, a half a day farting around town, and then a full day at the zoo. We were there for like 3 days. And it was a blast. Now, you literally type in Fort Wayne Children's Zoo, guys. There is so much stuff there.
It's one of the largest zoos in the country.
Yeah, it's one of the biggest zoos. It's awesome. And like I said, it's fun for the kids, the wife, and we did it together. I'm not going to have them go there and then I'll play at Sweetwater. I'm into all the critters too. So we had a blast at the zoo, and then I think they pretty much played around in Sweetwater. I think I only went to Sweetwater for like an hour and a half one evening by myself. That they wasn't with me. I think they went somewhere, or they stayed at the hotel room or something. I can't remember.
Juke said I'd rather be in a zoo of guitars.
Well, you want to see a zoo of guitars, you need to see the Sweetwater. That's the music store zoo in that place. Trust me. And amplifiers, keyboards, pianos. There's a separate room, twice the size of my whole house, just with guitars. Okay? Then the piano room, holy mackerel, it's twice the size of the guitar room. Because that's not keyboards. Those are pianos. Like big, stage pianos. Big monster pianos. Then they have the keyboard section. The keyboard section, when I was there, was just as big as the guitar section. Then they have the drums. The drums weren't quite as big as the piano section, but bigger than the keyboard section. The live sound room was probably, I think, the smallest. But that doesn't mean it's small. It's still a big section.
Stephen wants to know if you're grandfathered in yet.
No, I'm not grandfathered in yet. And then if you go to like Lowe's, Walmart and stuff, they have all these, or if you go to like an indoor mall, they get these little kiosks in between the stores. That's how Sweetwater's set up. Like you might have the guitar showroom, the piano showroom, and the basses. Well, in the kiosk, all down through here, they have pedal displays and maps of the facility, and then a map of Fort Wayne. And then they've got an amp thing set up. Let's say you don't want to play in the guitar room, you're wanting to try out a pedal. So you can go over to the pedal wall, grab a pedal, grab your guitar, go over, plug the guitar into the pedal into an amp. So there's a section there with all these amps with seats with a pedal wall. And then they have another section, I think it was like 9 booths that they have, like the Head Rush, the Line 6 Helix, an HX Stomp, Quad Cortex with headphones that you can sit down with those independent platforms and play those platforms. Now that was very busy when I was there. You pretty much got to pull a name tag and say, I want to use this next, because I wanted to try out the Line 6 and I just thought I'd wait. And every time I would see the guy get up, someone darted over and got on it. So I think they got a system where you got to go out, I want to be in line to play this and check it out. But it's quite cool. Are we counting guitars? I see 35 here.
Yeah, I put you have a lot because I don't know how many you have.
I do have a lot of guitars. I don't know. I don't really want to try to. I mean, just out here in just in this room, 1, 2, 3, 4,
Don't count mine.
5. All right, I'm not going to count Linnell's guitars, so that's going to take 2 off. So there's 2 more in the room, not counting Linnell's guitars. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's 8 guitars in this room. 2 more of Linnell's guitars, so that's 10 total just in this room.
Birdman says he's at upwards of 50 guitars.
Yeah, I don't have 50. I probably have another 12 in the room over here. And I think there's 5 or 6 downstairs. I think. Might not be, probably 4. At least 4 or 5 downstairs.
Devastator has 11. Jerry Dover has 3. Jupe has 3. Steven has 35.
Oh my gosh. Well, we're getting ready to get rid of some guitars. I've been checking my email. Who was it that said they were going to send me something on the Kramer? I think it was Mark SRT or somebody said something about maybe interested in this Kramer. Because I actually have 2 of these guitars. I have this one and I have a banana yellow one. And they're the exact same guitar. And I'm going to sell the yellow one. And I keep saying I'm going to put up a list of guitars that I'm going to sell, and I haven't done it yet. We still have 5 guitars here to review that are brand new, waiting on reviews. So our reviews are going to happen on Thursday nights. We just did the Squire last Thursday. I think that review turned out pretty nice. Love that guitar. That's a Squire Nashville Strat. So it's a Stratocaster with Nashville Tele electronics. Super cool. Go back. If you haven't seen that video or live stream, go back and check that out. It's quite cool. So we're going to do review something every Thursday night, whether it's a pedal, whether it's an effects unit, an interface, a guitar, a microphone. We're reviewing something every Thursday. This Thursday, we are reviewing a Jackson JS V7 string. So that's this coming Thursday. But Saturday nights is just our night to come up with what we want to do and what we want to talk about. And I knew the one post was active versus passive. So we've kind of touched base on that. I only have one active guitar right now, and that's my Nitro. So I don't have anything with fluences that we can compare. So hopefully that served its thing. I'm a big fan of the MNG 89 if you're into active pickups. That's my favorite. I know the 86, the 85, and the 81 is popular, but I'm just an 89 fan. Now, I know they make a couple versions of the 89. The one you just heard is just the EMG 89. It's not the EMG 89R or the there's an R and a different one. There's one other one, but that one's just the EMG 89. TC Electronics Golden Plexi. Thanks to Dave Simpson showcasing one. Yeah, TC Electronics, man, they make some nice stuff. They really do. You, you can, how can you say it? Um, like my Nitro, it's wired, and the pickups are set up that way because I was playing a lot of bars, and I needed a guitar that would do the hairband stuff really well. But at that time, Leonard Skinner and stuff like that, Led Zeppelin, that was still really popular. You know, Boston, stuff like that was still really popular in bars. So you had to be able to play that. So I had to have a guitar that I could get those kinds of sounds out of too. And the pickup configuration on that Nitro, back when I was playing out, I could get close to all those sounds. Even running my ART SGX 2000. Did it sound just like it? No. But you could tell that I was shooting for it, and it was good enough. Nowadays, you know, with Axe effects, if you look at the quality of the effects, I mean, is the TC Electronics better at this or that or one little thing? It might be 5% better. Okay, you know, you might look at some of the old Alesis reverbs and go, oh my gosh, Alesis had it. It wasn't just Alesis. You had TC Electronics. There was a ton of great rack mount gear that made one or two units that were just famous. My point is that you know, when we have a guitar like this, it does a little bit of everything extremely well, and that's kind of what I'm shooting for. If I wanted the perfect guitar, it's going to be the perfect guitar at doing one thing, and that's all it's going to do. I prefer, now this is what I call one trick pony. It truly is. This is a one trick pony guitar. It's one pickup, and you can do a split. It's not going to give you a ton of versatile sounds out of it. You're going to be forced to use your modeler and use EQ. There's nothing wrong with that. You put an EQ between the guitar and your amplifier, you can make this humbucker sound like a single coil. Can you make it sound like a neck pickup? Not really. But you can get some of the humbucker sound out of it. You can maybe mid-tone it a little bit more. So I still consider guitars like this, they're good for one thing, and that's hair music. That's really what this guitar was built and designed to do. So I have one, you know. But I bought a hollow body, and what's funny is last live stream, I was playing that through my Friedman amp, a hollow body. The guitar plays fine through it. It doesn't feed back. It's actually fun to play that big hollow body through the Friedman. But when I plug it in my Egnator, with just a little bit of delay and the Egnator reverb, man, that guitar sings. I can't get that sound out of my Beretta. I can't get that sound out of my Peavey. I can't get it out of that Chapman. Only one thing sounds like a hollow body, and that's a hollow body. So if you want that hollow body sound, you got to have a hollow body. So just like a Strat, nothing sounds like a Strat but a Strat. Nothing sounds like a Telly but a Telly. You know, Les Paul, exact same thing. I've got my Alex licensed Les Paul, got that covered. And I don't really have a true Telecaster, okay? I just don't. I've got my Strat with, you know, Telecaster electronics, but I do not actually right now have a true Telecaster. My Fender FMT Telly, that's more a Fender's take on a Les Paul. So between that Fender Les Paul, the FMT, and my Les Paul, I've got that genre covered. So right now I'm kind of looking for a nice double cut, which I put on layaway the Yamaha that we talked about last week. I still owe $350 on it, something like that. So I think that's going to cure my double cut craving. And I'm probably going to end up putting the Seymour Duncan P90 Hot Rails in it. It's like a P90 with a single coil next to it. I'm probably going to put that in it to fix my P90 and humbucker all in one guitar. So I'm going to get that and a really nice Strat. Not Strat, nice Telly. Just two pickup Telly. and then we're going to start getting rid of some guitars. I think if you cover those bases, you've got it covered. I've got a ton of Super Strats. Super Strats will always come and go. It's not that I don't like the Super Strat. I'll get a different Super Strat, and I just love that one for about a year. And I'm like, oh, I'll play this one. I'm like, oh man, that's an awesome guitar. So I'll sell one, then, might go a year and I'll find something else. Right now, my Super Strat is my Beretta. I was playing my Night Swan a lot, but I broke a string on it, so this Night Swan's put away. That's fine. This guitar needs some love. I'm not going to put any strings on the Night Swan until I'm ready to take it back out and play it again. I'm going to play the Beretta and my Firefly Lynch copy guitar. So these are going to be my two hair guitars that I play right now. I'm an old hippie, 71, waiting for the next super band. They're rare. It's the industry. Like I said, guys, today my blood sugar went kind of high, and if you're familiar with diabetes, which I am a diabetic, it makes you very thirsty. So I have been drinking a lot. Hon, can I have more tea? That's why we did the intermission so early. I just can't seem to quench my thirst.
You should drink water. You'll get dehydrated drinking tea.
No, she said I should drink water. Can you squirt some of my stuff in it?
Yep.
That's supposed to help that dehydration. At work, I drink water, but I get this little, it's a little, I don't know what it's called. I get it at Walmart. It's like water flavor that you squirt in it. It's actually pretty good. It's got electrolytes and stuff in it. And it's much cheaper than buying Gatorade. You can get this one little bottle, lasts me all week, and I can make 16 or 20 drinks out of this little $3 bottle. And the water works free. I see Custom Shop Fender.
Yeah.
Thank you, honey. See, I don't know what you call this stuff. It's just water, and she shot just a little bit of that stuff in it. But it makes it, well, we'll just say yummy. Sorry, I apologize, guys. Yes, like I said, guys, you all talk about Liddell's been getting this, and I realize how fortunate I am. I have a really good woman. She is good to me. But I spoil her too, guys, trust me. You guys just don't really see it. We do a lot. We don't do anything really pretty much without one another. Everything we do in life, we do together. Except work. I go to work, she stays here. But if we're not working, we're together. We pretty much everything we do, we're together. Thanks, honey. So what do you guys want to go over now? We kind of went over the pickup thing. I'm kind of on the fence. I was thinking about, doing some other things. I actually have. Let me show you guys something. I bought this pickup right here about a year ago. And this is I got the cover on funny. Let me see if it says. It's a DiMarzio Area 67. And basically what I planned on doing with this pickup, let's take it out here. I'll show it to you.
Pandora says you don't have anything to unbox.
I'm unboxing something right now. This is a DiMarzio 67. So, if you remember the pickup configuration on the Nitro, I had planned on doing this. And yes, I know it's backwards, but that's what I want to do. I want to set this pickup basically just like that, right there in the guitar, in that orientation. So I want to route this guitar and mount this pickup right there. And I just dropped it. So, in that orientation. And it is cream. And it should be pretty close, even though the Margio and the Seymour Duncan cream is pretty close. It just looks different because it's in this plastic. So that's the pickup. So I don't know when I'll actually get to it. Like I said, the pickup's been here for a year. But I did plan on doing that to this guitar. I really like this guitar. And I think by putting that pickup here, and I don't think I'm going to do a separate a tone. Well, what I might do is just another volume and a single tone. I don't think I'm going to do 2 volumes and 2 tones. I think to start with, I'll just put an extra volume in and see how that works. That way I'll have a volume control for each pickup. So in the center position, I can actually blend. You know, that's something else I might think about doing as a blend knob. You know, take this out and do blend. That way if it's all the way one direction, it's full volume here, turn it the other way, it's full volume on the other pickup. Dead center would be full volume both pickups. I was thinking about that too.
Jackie said it's a pickup, not a drop it.
Well, hopefully it still works.
Yeah, Birdman says, oh no, broke the magnet.
Yeah, probably did break the magnet. I hope not. That was quite an expensive pickup. Try to get it shoved back in this little container here.
Mikey said he picked it up.
Yeah, that's the Area 67. DiMarzio. So I did pick that up. So we did an unboxing. There you go. Everybody happy? You guys must just be batting 1,000. Linnell's in here just cracking up.
Well, Jerry had said she's still waiting on the fridge that writes the grocery list, Avery. I said, actually, I'm waiting on a new stove that I've already picked out. Jerry said, tighten up, Avery.
Yeah,
And then Pennyboard said, Linnell, make him do an unboxing on that stove. That would rock.
We have pretty much replaced every kitchen utensil and, well, everything. The refrigerator, the microwave, the blender, the air fryer. Pretty much everything in the kitchen has been replaced in the last 4 years. You get to that point where everything you own is breaking. That's where we've been in the last 4 years. The toaster stopped working, then got up one morning, the coffee maker wouldn't make coffee. Then we got up one morning, the refrigerator wasn't cold. Then the microwave, just, you name it. It has been a rough 4 years on kitchen. I think what it is, I go to work and she takes them apart and unhooks wires. I don't know what happened to it. It just stopped working. Yeah, I think that might be what's going on. I have no idea. But we've replaced pretty much everything in the kitchen the last 4 years.
Tanner said it's almost time to start over.
No. I know new appliances don't last long, but I got to get more than 4 years out of them. Especially that refrigerator was like $2,600 for that refrigerator. That's crazy.
We still have the stove to replace.
You know, we didn't even want the refrigerator that we have. We picked out one, and they brought it, plugged it in, and we had the old refrigerator sitting outside. And we put all our new food in this refrigerator. It was the next day, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
I think the very next morning we got up, opened up the refrigerator, and it felt warm inside. I'm like, well, what's going on with this thing? So I unplugged it, plugged it back on, turned it back on, the lights come on. I'm like, and by 3 o'clock, it was just done. So we had got it at Lowe's. So I went down to Lowe's and said, "You all just dropped off this refrigerator. It's not working. I need a replacement." Now here's something you need to know about Lowe's. If you don't have money for 2 refrigerators, don't buy a refrigerator at Lowe's. Because if you have a problem, they will not come get your old refrigerator and replace it until you buy the new one. And you don't get credit for the old one until it lands on their dock. I was so upset. It was like a $1,700 refrigerator was the first one we bought. Went in, they said, "Well, you got to buy it." I said, "Well, I've already bought it. You all just delivered it. It's broken. Well, you got to buy this one so we can deliver it, and we'll credit you when we get the old one there." I'm like, no, 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 no. I've already bought the refrigerator. This went on. It was bad. Got the new refrigerator. Well, that one lasted 2 days.
Yep.
2 days later, that one, the replacement one, got up. All the food's wasted. Lost all our food. All of it. This is the second refrigerator. Went down to Lowe's, and that lady said, "Well, you got," I said, "Lady, I'm not buying the third refrigerator. I'm still waiting for the credit on the first refrigerator, because they credit you, it takes 5 days for it to hit your bank." And she goes, "Well, you got to buy." I said, "No, I'm not buying the third one. I have yet to get the credit on the other one. The credit on the other one's not even showing yet." I raised you-know-what about it. And finally, the appliance people come back, and they let me have the refrigerator we have now. It was like a $2,600 refrigerator at the price we paid for the much cheaper refrigerator. That's the only reason we got this one. So we only paid like $1,750 for this refrigerator. So they gave us about $1,000 off. But we probably lost $300 in food. And then the inconvenience of losing 2 days at work. So it really wasn't a good deal.
Yeah, do not buy high cents.
Yeah, do not buy, what was it?
High cents.
High Sense. That was the refrigerator that we picked out, was High Sense. And it was a nice one. It looked nice. Come to find out, it wasn't that nice. Yeah, I don't know if Home Depot does it or not, Birdman, but that's something I would definitely say. If I have a problem with this product, am I going to have to purchase another one and you give me credit for the one that's in my house once you receive it? Because if so, I'm not doing business with you. You know, and after it was in my house 2 days, they wanted me to go to the warranty, which wasn't part of Lowe's. They have a sub company. I'm like, no, it's 2 days old. I want a new refrigerator. No, you got to have, that's under warranty. No, 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 no. It's 2 days old. I should have 30 days. In 30 days, if it breaks, I should get a brand new one. Don't send a tech out here to fix it. So these are the things you need to look into. I know we're off on a tangent, but it upset me so bad at Lowe's.
Juke says he has a Roper fridge. It's almost 30 years since I've had it and it's still going.
Yeah, the older refrigerators were so much better. Some of the original refrigerators were what they call piston refrigerators. Most all refrigerators now run a rotary compressor. They're not piston compressor unless you go to like a Wolf or a Sub-Zero. And even some of the Sub-Zero stuff now is going to the rotary compressor. And the rotary compressor just isn't as durable. It's lighter weight. Well, everything now is lighter weight. The metal on these new refrigerators, if you try to push it, you can dent it. It's actually quite scary how some of the cheaper refrigerators, how thin they actually are.
Honeytop said everything was built to be energy efficient, aka total junk.
Yeah, it's energy efficient, all right. You save about $30 a year on electricity. It lasts 8 years, so you saved maybe $200, and then you're buying another $2,000 washing machine.
Honeytop said they make everything thin to save energy. Our AC unit lasts like 8 years here.
I forget what the washer and dryer we bought. My washer and dryer was about 8, 9 years old, and I bought the basic washer and dryer. When I say it was basic, it literally had, the dryer was dry and air dry. Start. It may have had delicate, but it was like 3 different positions and start and time. That was it. That's the dryer I had. My washing machine had heavy, regular, and delicate, and rinse. That was it. One knob and start. Now the one that we have now talks to you.
It sings too.
It sings. It talks to you. It sends messages to your phone telling you that it's time to clean it. It's a freaking washing machine. It washes your clothes. It should be clean inside. Why am I washing my washing machine?
The refrigerator sends me messages too.
Well, the refrigerator sends us messages too. So the stove, I'm pretty sure the stove will send your phone an alert when you got to flip the turkey or the steak.
Yeah, the one I picked out.
The one she just said, yeah. If you tell it, it'll tell you when you got to flip your meat and do something on the stove. It'll send you a message. Hey, it's time to stir the gravy. Really? I will say that it's a nice stove. And it's a Q line like our refrigerator. And it is much nicer. The stove that I have, it's gas. And it has done it since it's been new. If you run that gas oven, it chases you out of the kitchen. It must have absolutely zero insulation around the gas part of the oven. Because when you turn that thing on, especially in the summer, it gets to 100 degrees in the kitchen in 5 minutes. It's like, bam. Now, it's great in the winter because the kitchen is the coldest room in the house. I'm like, bake and cook all you want, honey. Let the stove heat the kitchen.
Devastator says, yep, we have a washing machine like that. Lori cusses it constantly.
Yeah, I do like the washing machine. It's front load, and everyone knows that I work in wood all day. And some days the dust collectors don't pick up all the dust, and the machines you're in front of throw dust on you. So I come home some days, I have enough glue and sawdust on me to make a 4x8 sheet of plywood. That washing machine actually does a really good job of cleaning my work clothes. I will say that. Far, far, far better than my top load with the big agitator in it.
Jerry says guitars are going to get jealous and start sending you messages.
Yeah, well, the guitars are going to start breaking strings now that we've been talking appliances for 15 minutes.
Pinagore says, I'm heavy into tech, but when my appliances start talking to me, I quit drinking.
Yeah, that's usually a pretty good sign you need to quit drinking when your refrigerator's telling you that you need to change the milk or something. Hey, the milk is expired.
It tells me the door is open.
Yeah, well, we didn't get the one with the message center in it. It's a nice one, but she did want the one that made the round, it makes great big round balls of ice. You put this one ball of ice, that one ball of ice would it would get stuck in the center of this cup.
Here, just
it's huge.
Put it in your cup.
Oh, there we go.
You should show them what it looks like.
Look at the size of that ball of ice. It's as big as the cup. It's a monster. I mean, there's only 1/8 of an inch room for that thing to move around the bottom. It's stuck. It's so big. She had to have the one that made the big balls of ice. Now, the upper tray does regular ice and cubed, so it has 2 ice makers in it.
It does crushed and cubed.
It's crazy how big the ice is. Anyway.
Ice balls. Birdman said, who watched the Fulton Street Beats film where Mike left that Chipson LP out in the snow for over a week?
I did not see that. Life, guys, if we let it get to us, and sometimes it gets to me too, I admit, but there's nothing like having a group of friends to think back on things. When I was so upset at Lowe's over those refrigerators, to be able to sit now and talk and laugh about it, that's it's funny, but then at the same time, I remember how upset I was that they told me I was going to have to buy another refrigerator, and they were going to credit me after they did the return.
Birdman says that
To look back on and get some amusement now, I guess that's a good thing.
Birdman says that that guitar that was left in the snow for over a week, he said it survived, and the guy put it in the oven at 250 for 20 minutes or so.
The problem with that, anytime you introduce moisture into wood, especially something that has a sealed finish like this, if there's a crack and it leaches through the crack and the moisture gets in it, it can literally take years for that wood to actually, because it can't breathe. It's easier for the moisture and the water to go through the crack than this thing to actually breathe and that moisture to get out of the guitar, if that makes sense. Guitars are really sensitive to humidity. That's why when I work on guitars, I always tell people, if you can tell me the humidity in your house, that's great. And if it's way off of mine, I usually tell them, well, you can send it to me, but it may take a week for the guitar to acclimate to my environment. And then I tell them what my house is at. I set my house is usually between 35 and 38% humidity. Some people are going to say that's a little dry. I found that from my climate zone, okay, as far as the how hot it gets here and how cold it is here, in my area, that's a nice average. It gets a little drier than that outside, and it gets a little more humid than that outside. So I'm not going like this, trying to chase the exterior humidity to dry. I picked somewhere in the center from my zone, and that's about where it is. 40% would probably be perfect, and it would be easy for me to change it up to 40%. I just haven't done it.
Honeytap said his neighborhood has 100% humidity 9 months out of the year.
Well, yeah, that's why I was picking on you earlier about Honeytap about August, because it'll be 100% humidity and 113 degrees outside.
Yeah,
It's awful down there in August.
He said earlier that it'll be 100 degrees soon.
Yeah, it's great. A lot of people in this where I live in Virginia, they go down there in the summer, and as soon as summer hits, about right now, they start coming back up to Virginia for the summer months. So it's actually quite regular. Well, I'm going to turn on this amplifier, and I don't know. I'm going to play this one just for a little bit. I mean, we are here just jamming. So you guys can talk away, and I'm just going to kind of flutter and play a little bit. And again, if I was playing the line 6, I would not have to do that. I could literally pick the guitar up and just push the button and go right to playing. It wouldn't be an issue. you guys can't tell by now, I'm pretty much a field player. I think you get so much more out of the guitar if you play by feel. And the more you play the guitar, you start to kind of figure out what does and what doesn't work. But you still step out of that box. If you don't step out of that box, you don't progress. I made so many mistakes doing that, but each time I make a mistake, I log that mistake. Oh, I can't play the fifth there. I can't play the seventh off the third before I go to the root, or whatever it may be. I play a lot of blue notes as well, notes that aren't in the scale. As long as you're not there too long and it's a passing tone, okay? Instead of playing the third, maybe take it down a half step, play that note and roll up to it. Does that kind of make sense? If you know if you're not in the key, you can do stuff like. So many notes there aren't actually in the key. You know, that's accenting it. Now let me do it to where you can't notice it. That's how I approach an instrument. It doesn't really matter what the key is. If you can go in and you can find a passing tone that works, as long as you don't necessarily land on it, that's where jazz really lands, on some of those weird notes. I haven't been able to quite make that kind of stuff work, but I have been able to make a lot of the passing tones work, if that makes sense.
Pinnacle says, random comment, I have to confess, I have a Fender Screamadelica Strat. No hate please, it was on sale.
Yeah. I don't know, guys. That's just how I approach it. Penagore. Linnell just read me the comment. I'm not familiar with that particular Strat. I don't know if it was special. Don't Google it. You can't unsee it. I guess he's talking about the style of guitar it is.
He says he likes the color screen, but not the graphic.
Hey, you know, I got a lot of goofy guitars too, man. I got the one here that has the tiger thing on it. Then everybody's seen my black with the light blue polka dots on it. I'm all about something a little different. You know, I like being different. You know, if we can do that and we can do it on a budget and find there right now it's still a buyer's market, guys. It really is. Now's the time to really, if you want to buy something, I think in the next 2 years our buying market's going to kind of disappear. I have a feeling. Right now we're still seeing the pluses of manufacturers made way too many guitars. during COVID and coming out of COVID. And they're still struggling getting rid of this inventory. And the used market is flooded. So many new people bought guitars because they were bored during COVID. Probably, I would say 60% of those guitars from those people have been put up for sale. At least 50% of them. The used market is swamped. And retailers now are deliberately opening boxes and labeling them as demo. That way they can sell them under map price just to get rid of them. I see a lot of it. What's that, hon?
Jerry has a question.
I gotta scroll up. Question. Avery, are you going back?
No, he's talking about going back to the tried and true.
I have not tried the tried and true with stain. I only used the one that I've shown on my channel. I know they make a lot of tints and stuff like that. Usually, if I'm tinting something, I try to apply my tints in one of my sealer coats, if that makes sense. There's no reason. Tried and true's the finish. It's a replaceable finish. Let's say if I put tried and true on the neck, it's not like a lacquer or a poly. It's gonna wear off pretty quick. It's like a wax, a catalyzed wax. It's not like a nitrocellulose. It's not a shellac. It's not a polish. So if you use a tinted tried and true, unless it's a different formula than the one that I'm using, if it's in error, don't worry about it, because eventually, if you're rubbing and using your hand across it, it's eventually going to wear off. It's not a permanent finish, if that makes sense. I like it because when you put it on the neck, it doesn't get sticky like a poly finish, if that makes sense. This neck here has tried and true on it. I'm not saying it's the best. What I'm saying, it's the best that I've found, that when you get sticky, it doesn't get sticky. And when you sweat, it still protects the neck and your neck doesn't turn black. Okay? It's just the best product. There's a lot of products out there that I haven't tried. I just know the tried and true works, and it's fantastic for what I use it for.
This is I googled it. I've seen it before. That's the Screamadelica.
Oh, I've seen that Fender. We saw one of those at Guitar Center. I think Linnell and I had made a couple comments about that guitar. You know, that's a guitar that I would play though, because I'm into different, and that guitar is different. A lot of the Kramer guitars have different colors and finishes, diamonds, and it looks like someone threw paint on it. I think they made one with a big mouth on it at one time. It looked like something that they painted on the side of a B-52 bomber. I'm into that. I kind of dig it. This guitar here. Oh. This is another loud and an obnoxious guitar. I kind of dig it. It's something different. There's 50,000 guitars being made. There's always going to be something out there that someone's going to say, well, I don't like this, I don't like that. I like this right now. And I'll play it until one day I might look at it. I might look at it and go, why in the world did I buy that? And then there'll be somebody else that looks at it, and they'll just have to have it. That's what's great about these guitars. If you're willing to buy it, you're not the only person like that. Someone else is going to buy that instrument too. It just takes a special home for loud and obnoxious guitars like this. I like them. I'm trying to think. I've got a couple loud and obnoxious guitars. We may have to have a loud and obnoxious episode. Just all the stupid paint job guitars that I've got. I've got quite a few of them. But I like this one. But remember what I said about this one, guys. This is the Firefly Lynch ripoff. This Floyd Rose with the silkscreen Floyd Rose print, it has some issues. It doesn't. Let's see if we can actually make it do it. It won't always return to 0 correctly. Let's see if I can get it to do it. I'm going to hit the bar a couple times, and I'm just going to hit like the A or the E, hit the bar, and go right back to the same note, and you'll hear a pitch variation. Now I'm in tune. I'm going to play the bridge a little bit. We're going to go back and check the tune. You'll notice that it'll start drifting.
Curtain Skill says it's
Many times did that guitar go out of whack, and then I bring it back with the bar. But if you use a tuner, it is nowhere near the original tune. Let's say if you set it to 440 and you bend down, the strings may be in tune with one another, but it won't be at 440. If you pull up on it, it'll be at like 4440. You push back down on it, it might be at 3940. You push on it again, it might be at 440. You push on it again, it might be 3740. It's a big difference if you go down and then back up, because it'll get hung up at like 4540, almost a half step. And then when you push on it down again, it may go down to 3740. I think when I was just doing the down up things, you could definitely hear it. It's not consistent on the up pull. That's what's blowing my mind. It should be all going out the same. But the way the tremolo is set up, when it pulls up, the way the intonation sets back on each individual saddle, the ones closer is going higher in pitch than the ones setting back due to the fulcrum of the...
Curtain Skill says flat spot on the knife edge.
Yeah, I know what's doing it. It's brand new. I'm gonna do the knife edge trick. I got a tutorial on doing the knife edge. I'm kind of curious as to how long it will last. This is the cheaper than the Floyd Rose Special Bridge. So I am going to go through and I'm going to make the knife edge beautiful on this guitar. I'm going to polish the screws, the groove in the screws, and I'm going to polish the knife edges, make them really nice. They're not supposed to be sharp like a knife. They should have a nice rounded edge with no burrs. I'm going to put it together, abuse it for about 2 or 3 months, and see if the bridge plate, the actual main plate, is soft metal or hard metal. But being that the guitar is brand new, it could be that it's extremely soft metal, or from the factory, they set the string height with the string tension on the bridge. They put the tool in the tremolo and they turned that screw with this tremolo engaged in that groove. That's a no-no. That will destroy the knife edge instantly. So I'm thinking maybe they did that they literally put the tool in it after they put strings on it, and they made height adjustments on this bridge with all the string pressure on it. But yeah, the knife edges are super bad.
Mikey said his stream ended.
His stream ended?
Oh, he said he had to restart and slide to the end. It's back now.
Oh, that's kind of weird.
Now Mark said his just ended too.
Huh.
But Devastator says he still has his. Steven says his is still good. Mine's fine.
We did not end the stream, guys. I don't know. That's peculiar. I did set something up for the end of the stream, but I have to actually hit the button for that to take place.
Mark said his just started again.
Huh. Hey, it's YouTube. I don't think they're used to streams running over, 2 hours. We're at 2 hours and 40 minutes now, guys.
Kurt says his is good.
Yeah, we actually do some long streams.
Mikey said it did it 2 times to him.
Let me put this guitar back up on the wall. For me, doing all this drinking, I hate to say it, but we're going to have to do another intermission. And if you wasn't here for the first intermission, we have a lovely little intermission show. So we're going to take a 3 or 4 minute break, and everyone can go to the kitchen, re-up on their drinks, hit the restroom, and we'll be right back. Again, I'm talking without the microphone on. I've probably done that way too many times. Anyway, I hope you guys can understand the amount of time that it takes. Like that little intermission thing that I just did. That probably took an hour and a half today to actually use my video editor and create that. And if you saw the very beginning of the stream, I did a starting soon animation. I worked on that today. And I went through and actually tried to get OBS set up better. Now that I actually have scenes in OBS, I can actually program my little stream deck here. And I should be able to not really have to use the keyboard unless we go online. I should be able to use my stream deck and this and make it a little simpler. Because I've got 9 buttons on OBS that I've got to control, plus the 2 microphone controls. And I'm still getting my head wrapped around. That's why I keep making the mistake on the microphone. And the main reason for that is when I go to the break scene, I can't remember if there's an audio input on that break or not. So I'm turning the mics off during the break scene, just in case there's nothing there. And I thought about adding music to it, but YouTube is so bad on copyright strikes, I didn't want to take the chance on adding music. Gotta move the camera. The stand sticks out into the walking path. It's pretty funny.
Sorry.
But going over what we were just talking about, guys, with the Floyd Rose, I'm going to pull the chat back up so I can actually see the chat. The Floyd Rose tremolo. I'm playing Floyd Rose tremolos now. But if you look at the tremolo on this guitar, it is not a Floyd Rose. This is the best tremolo that was ever made. This is a Kaler 2700 Killer. This bridge was new in 1986. Now this is a 87 production, but the bridge was made in 86. This tremolo has never, ever had the knife edges serviced. It's never had the post changed. It's never had anything done to it. This bridge stays in perfect tune. A good tremolo system made out of good materials should last a lifetime. If I had to replace parts on this at this point and do the knife edges, how could I ever complain? I would probably have a hard time fixing the knife edges. The metal is so hard, I would probably have to take it to a machine shop to have it done. I mean, I could probably spin up something with 1200, but I don't have anything with a diamond embedded paper to spin up at that radius to redo the knife edges. I would have to use standard sticky paper on drill bits, and it would probably take forever to cut into this metal, because it has literally lasted. Like when I say I played this guitar, this was my main guitar. Over my Vandenberg and over my other Nitro, I played this guitar. And if you look at the frets on it, the frets are pretty chewed. I don't know if you can see that. They are chewed.
Birdman says, ooh, I see that gold Strat Telly over there. Love to hear it tonight. Hint, hint, maybe with a lighter gain.
Yeah, we just did Birdman. If you want to listen to that guitar, go to the channel, go under live, and you will see the review of that guitar. That was just literally done last Thursday. I'm more than happy to play it tonight, but we did a whole live stream on checking the fret radius, the string action height, going over the fit and finish, checking out all the pickup positions, all the sound positions. Again, I made a mistake in that video. I had 2 cameras set up, and probably 70% of the video, I'm talking to the wrong camera the whole time, just like I'm doing right now. I'm talking to the wrong camera. So if you can get over, it's not quite that drastic, but I am talking, there's 2 cameras about 2 foot apart, and I'm looking at the other camera. Linnell said she didn't pick up on it because there's not a lot of separation between the two cameras, but I am, for the most part, talking to the wrong camera most of the review. But I want you guys to pay attention to this one. This bridge was made in '86, and it's never been serviced. And I'm going to use the bar quite a bit on it, and watch how well this guitar stays in tune. And of course, I forgot to turn on the other microphone, but you get the point. The guitar is stayed in tune. No pick. It just stays in perfect tune. Now, granted, I know it doesn't sound too good because it's coming through this microphone, but the guitar stays in tune. That's why it was my number one guitar. You could play this thing through the set, and unless you broke a string, it was staying in tune. It's just a beast of an instrument. It really is. And like I said, this bridge was made in '86. We're looking at a bridge there. You know, it's not even 2 months old, and we're saying it's the knife edges. There's a big difference in quality. That's why I tell people, if you can find these guitars with these Kaler bridges, these nitro guitars are just really, really great instruments. They are. Even if you get it and you don't necessarily like the sound, put some JBs or DiMarzios or your favorite, whatever your pickup of choice is on it, get the thing set up right, and believe me, you've got a guitar that nowadays would cost you $3 or $4, $5, $6 grand for a guitar of this quality. They made Peavey from '85 to '92, made phenomenal instruments. They really did. Now let's plug in the other one over here. I see it's sitting over here. Let me grab it real quick. There you go. And if you watch the channel a lot, you'll know that I am a Strat guy. I like Strats. I don't like where the volume knob is on a Strat. I'm constantly hitting the volume knob on a Stratocaster. This particular guitar has the tele-electronics, and I don't hit the little volume knob down here. The bridge pickup, now something we missed, I did say it at the end of the video. Check, 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 check. It is microphonic. If I go to the center position, just this pickup, check, 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 check. It is not microphonic. The upper pickup, check, check, check. It is not microphonic. But our readings on these pickups make me think that they're not super cheap. The Henrys were low on them and they had decent ohm readings. So I think they're pretty good pickups. And in the bridge position, I think the guitar has the quack because of the lack of wax potting the pickup has. I like the sound of this guitar. I am not changing the pickups. Let's go up to our center position. Actually, we're going to go back. I'm going to actually turn on the right microphone. We'll go back to our bridge position, and I'll use the stereo mics on the cabinet. I'm playing pretty sloppy tonight, guys. But you get an idea. There's this guitar just has a sound. I know it's single coil, but I actually like the sounds it makes. Um, I don't have another guitar that sounds like this. I'm not changing my amplifier. I'm just plugging the guitar in, and I get my amp sounds completely different. And I like that. That means that this guitar has something that my other guitars don't have. If I'm looking for a particular sound and I'm wanting this type sound, this guitar is going to give that to me. If I'm looking for more of that, you know, early 70s, 60s kind of sound with medium distortion, I'm going to pick this guitar. I'm not going to pick up my Beretta. I'm not going to pick up my Nitro. I'm going to pick this guitar up, or I'm going to pick up my hollow body, you know, for those type songs. I know I can get two different sounds out of those two guitars. I can get there with this one and that one. It fixes that itch for that particular style of music, and it makes me play a little different. It really does. I play more bluesy with this type guitar. I really do. But if I play my Night Swan, I play a lot more hair music. The Beretta's kind of an in-between guitar. It kind of does a little bit of both, but it just doesn't have the sound this one has. And that's nothing against the Beretta. Beretta's a great guitar. It just doesn't have the sound. Even in the split coil position, it just doesn't sound like this one. Listen to this bridge on this guitar. Even though it's microphonic, I love the bridge sound. That's just how I like the way it sounds. But that's why there's so many different kind of guitars out on the market, guys. If you're looking for that type tone, $329, it definitely is doing it for me. Like I said, this one's probably going to stay because I'm not hitting the volume knob like I do on most Strats. So this one's a keeper for me. And it's definitely a good price point. I don't have a lot of money invested in it, and it's something that I can pick up when I feel that I want to get that kind of music wants to come out of me, or I want to play that style. This one definitely does it. And like I said, it's not a big investment. $300 for a guitar that swings you in a direction. You know, you want to play this style, pick this up, and it makes you play it. I think that's pretty good. I'm going to turn off my amp because it makes a lot of humming noise. Alright, I'm going to read the chat. You know, Kurt, it's not the guitar's fault. It's some people could say it's my sloppy way of playing, but in a lot of cases, you know how you attack the strings, the way you arc your arm, the way you move your wrist. If you look, Sometimes I play and the wrist just kind of flops. And then other times I kind of keep it tight. You know, those techniques give your style of playing. You know, how Kirk plays, how Avery plays, how Pentagore plays, how Devastator plays. That's what makes us unique. In my particular style, when I flick my wrist and I'm strumming, it just so happens where I'm strumming, it hits the volume knob and it spins it in that direction. Could I play a Strat? If I only had a Strat, if someone took all my guitars and you gave me a Strat and I had to play that Strat every day, I guarantee you probably within 3 months I could break myself of that habit. And I would never go, well, why do I ever have a problem with this? I just haven't played one long enough to develop a technique that sounds like me, that works on that particular guitar. And now I don't have to. I bought this one, and I like it. That doesn't mean that you know, this is filling the Strat. I still want a Strat, but I think I want to take a Strat and just move the volume, take the one tone out, move the volume down. And the only reason I haven't done that is I haven't found a company that makes a pick guard without the volume knob up there, that just takes the two tones and makes the first tone a volume and the second tone a tone and eliminates the hole. My OCD would kick in. I couldn't have the little hole in the pick guard there. A lot of people say, oh, just pull it out and leave the hole. I guess I could put a little sticker there and no one would know. But my OCD, I know it's there, so I haven't done it. But I think next on my list is going to be the guitar that I'm making payments on. Probably going to do a video on that because as of right now, I am not keeping the stock pickups. They sound good. So I'm going to pull the stock pickups and I'm going to put them in a different guitar that I feel the humbuckers are a little weak in. Because the humbuckers sound good in that Yamaha. And I'm going to put a set of P-rails on it, Seymour Duncan P-rails. And that should fix my double cut itch. And then eventually I'll have one guitar out here that does each kind of sound. Like P90, a good humbucker, a nice single coil guitar, and of course one of my hair guitars. Have them all out to where if I feel that need to play a certain style, I can just grab that particular guitar. I keep my FMT out here and the Les Paul, Linnell's Les Paul, and they're very similar in the way they sound. They play completely different, but the tonal quality of the two guitars are very similar.
Jerry said put a kill switch in the hole.
Yeah, that's a pretty good idea. A low profile kill switch you wouldn't hit with your hand. That's actually a pretty good idea, Jerry. I like that concept. I have one more thing here to do tonight, guys. And hold on here. And I just did it. So if the person is still in the chat, when next time I type, they'll know what's been taking place. I think he is.
Yeah, he's in there.
I just did it, honey.
Yeah, okay, I'm sure he'll say something soon.
And I'm chasing my lighter. So what'd you guys do this week? I've been just yakking. We've been talking pickups and bridges and stuff like that. Now I actually want to read the chat.
There he is.
There he is.
I just hit the buttons.
He said, thanks.
If no one in the group knows, that's going to be it. And I feel that I have done Jerry. Look, we're going to start with Jerry. Jerry's one of the people that came on the channel probably about a year ago. Could have been a little longer. He would ask questions, but Jerry would always come and watch the videos, and he always would come in, whether it was a comment on someone else's, he would read a lot of the different comments and come in and help people. And when I was looking for people to kind of help out, I was thinking Jerry, okay, just because of the way he helps out. Now, Devastator, if you guys didn't know, he spent a lot of time with me actually getting OBS originally up and running. And it's not just that. I've seen him go and look up links and then answer questions in the chat. When people come up with something, I might not get it. I've seen him actually go out of his way, to make sure something happens. I know it happened on the last live stream. So what I've noticed, either Jerry or Devastator is always here. If Jerry's not here, Devastator's here. If Devastator's not here, Jerry's here. And of course we actually have Mike, he's a moderator, but Mike is very busy, he has his own YouTube channel. He was my first moderator that come in, and we're just trying to be, everyone that's here I know is super cool. It's the people that's going to come in and I forget what they even call them. They call them something. They just come in and cause problems. You guys are, I don't know how you do it, but if you right click on people's names, I'm pretty sure you have the ability to kick them out or mute them and do stuff like that. So just pay attention. If someone like that comes into the chat, it's kind of your all's job to kind of make sure things stay under control. And so far, everyone that comes to the live stream has been super polite, super good people. And that's kind of the people that we're looking for. This is supposed to be an honest channel. Everyone here has an opinion. That's why if Kurt Inscale or Devastator or Birdman or, anybody else makes a comment and says, hey, I've done this, that's what it's about. I've only done what I've done. And there's no way I have done what all of you combined have done. That's impossible. So as a group, we're supposed to help. Hey, why'd you do that? Or why are you thinking about this? Did you think about doing this? Or maybe it's a pickup that you know of that no one else has ever heard of, or something's on sale somewhere. Hey, I heard Devastator was looking for, a tube distortion pedal, a blues tube. I better hop in the chat tonight and tell him what's his name's got one on sale over here. That's what the community does. We're in here talking. Everyone says, oh, I would love to have this. I would love to have that. And someone else is reading the chat and they see it that week. Well, next week they see you and they say, hey, I saw what you were looking for over here. And Jerry's done that to me. He's called and said, hey, that PV that you want with the triangle, I found one at this website. And I sent him a thing back saying, yeah, I saw that because I went right there that evening and looked at it. But he sent me the email to say, hey, I found one for you. And there's been other people that have done that. And that's what makes us a group. And I like that. That's what the channel was started for. It was started for product information and to help people. And I've done a lot of work in OBS. I'm trying to get much better at OBS. Just for giggles, since I can, we can go to this camera. Just the fade from the one camera to the other camera took 20 minutes for me to figure out. I was hitting buttons and it just abruptly went to the next scene. So I'm learning new equipment. I've never done this before, guys. So I'm learning. And any help and any constructive criticism that you all have, believe me, it goes a long way. I just didn't like when we took a break or I had to use the restroom, just leaving the room and it's empty. Someone clicks on and they go, oh, well, that's just an empty room and guys are chatting. What's going on there? So I created the break page, And then I knew I had a problem last stream with clicking OBS and when YouTube went live. So I created the little thing at the beginning of the stream to kind of help out. So anything like that, guys, helps. That's what I'm trying to say. If you all have a suggestion, I've been trying to get my microphone to sound better. Now I'm facing this way and the microphone is over here. So I'm trying to find a good place for the microphone and the cameras and try to keep the quality up. Because I did promise you guys that I would work diligently to make the stream as good as I could possibly make it. And hopefully you guys have seen the difference in quality from the very first stream. That's my goal, is to progressively get better. This week I didn't really get to play guitar too much. I had a hard week at work this week. I came home, ate, and pretty much was relaxing most of the week. I spent most of the week this week milling out teak for a big wall that we were working on. And teak is a very oily, hard wood. And at the end of the day, we hand rubbed in teak oil, 3 coats of teak oil. And there was probably a good, I'm going to say 500 or 600 board foot of this stuff that I had to do. And my arms felt like they were going to fall off at the end of work. So I didn't really have the opportunity to practice too much. Then Thursday night we did the guitar review. And then Friday, and then the live stream tonight. And I look forward to it because I work hard during the week. So this is my time to vent and chat too. Just like you guys. Just like you guys. There's absolutely no difference. I don't want there to be a difference, if that makes sense. Yeah, Devastator saying we definitely have a good group of regulars. I agree with that. Well, guys, we are at the 3 hour and 16 minute mark. Now, I am going to try something completely new. There's a lot of people in the chat, and I know when the stream ends, sometimes you guys chat over. So we're going to try something new. I'm going to sign off, but the stream is going to keep going.
Devastator has a question.
Oh, wait a minute. Devastator's got a question. I don't think we've discussed caps much yet. Orange caps, oil, type 22. Yeah, I've only done one video on different caps. Let me look downstairs and see what caps I have. We might be able to touch base on that next Saturday, if that's something that you all want to go over. Different caps. We can definitely do that. That's what I was getting ready to talk about. At the end of the stream, when I sign off, the stream technically won't end. Okay? Since this is Saturday night stream, we're talking about what we can go over next Saturday night. The chat will stay open for 5 minutes. Okay? And if you guys would stay all the way to the end and chat, I think it's going to be kind of cool. I made a little algorithm that'll keep the chat open, even though I've signed off. And there's a little animation thing that goes on. So in that 5 minutes, you all can type in what you'd like to go over next Saturday, or finish up whatever conversations you all had going on in the chat. So again, I want to thank everybody for coming and hanging out for almost 3.5 hours. That's a long live stream. And without you guys, this could not happen whatsoever. So I'm going to sign off, but the chat will stay live for 5 minutes. So leave me some ideas in the chat comment. And before you leave, make sure you hit the like button. And if you haven't already, please consider subscribing. Thank you guys so much.